Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Constructed Clash. I'm Heezy, and I'm joined by the Witch Clan. What's up, man?
Not much. Doing pretty good.
So, we asked the people what they wanted this week, and they wanted Modern. So, the obvious thing to do is, last week we played the two most played decks in Modern. The problem is that we've actually already played the matchup with the other two most played decks in Modern on this series.
Yeah.
It was before the ring got banned, but same decks. So we thought, why not? Let's have some fun this week. So, Matt, what are you playing?
I'm gonna be playing the Vampire Slivers deck that Screenwriter NY, I believe, invented maybe a couple months ago at this point.
Okay. And I will be playing the not the exact list, but Temur Rhino Twin, which got a 17th at the challenge, I think yesterday. And then I just was like, well, a lot of these slots can be other things, and change it up, especially the sideboard. I don't think the sideboard made a ton of sense, and I don't think either of us really expect each other's decks, so it's it's gonna be, what do you expect out of this matchup?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, game one, I think if you have turn 4 combo, I'll probably lose most of the time. Although obviously I can just be faster than that. Like this deck does have the potential to just win on turn 3. But yeah, I think post board I'll have a lot better interaction. But it's going to be a little bit ships passing in the night, I think, especially in game one. But
that's how I
we'll
felt.
see how it goes.
I do have Force of Negation and Subtlety, so that does help. But I think it'll be a little silly to start game one. Should we go into the decks?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go first. I just want to talk about the mana base really quick. One of the things that I did is I cut the second Gemstone Cavern for the first Lorien revealed. I just think that 24 lands is quite a bit, if we're being completely honest. And we're playing 9 fetchables, just one of each of the shocks, 2 Thundering Falls, 2 islands, and 1 of each of the basics. 4 Crashing Footfalls, 4 Deceiver Exarch, 1 Brazen Bower. This is an addition that I made that I think is pretty valuable. I think that it's better than Pastermite basically every time you don't have a twin. 4 Force of Negations, 1 Flame of Benor. This is another change that I made. I think that you want to be able to card draw while interacting or interact some in different matchups. And then I put in Bounding Crisis over the remaining Pastermites. Bounding Crisis is a bigger body, which I think is important in this format right now, in a lot of different ways. It can actually hold things back a little bit, as well as being a good twin target. And then we have 4 Charlotte's Agents to cascade into our Crashing Footfalls. We don't have anything else to hit off of Charlotte's Agent. And then we have the 4 Fire Ice, the 4 Splinter Twins, the 4 Dead Gons, and 4 Subtleties. Overall, I like the idea of this deck. I'll be interested to see how it plays out, to see if it's something I want to put time into. I could totally reasonably see splashing white instead and going for a more, playing things like Leyline Binding and even some more cascade effects. So,
yeah. I think that the Rhino's twin idea is kind of interesting. Like, the thing is, you will win a lot of games that you shouldn't just because your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, right? Like, if it would be totally reasonable for your opponent to just assume you're playing Rhinos and then tap out for something, assuming that they're going to get Rhinos next turn, and instead what happens is that they get Deceiver Exarch Splinter Twinned. It's kind of a thing that falls off a lot when it's a known commodity, but then there's obviously some levelings in sideboarding and stuff. So that's kind of interesting. I am concerned about the number of cascaders compared to the number of spells you want to cascade into. Obviously the deck's creator was under the impression that just playing Crashing Footfalls on the suspend side is good enough.
Yeah,
But,
and that's something
not
that
sure.
I have cast my fair number of turn 1 suspend rhinos.
Yeah, I think it's super great on turn 1. Anyway, onto the deck that I'm playing today.
Yeah, let me switch over to your deck. Let's pull up this. It's funny, the file that Matt sent me is called Goryo's Vengeance.
Mhm.
So the and then obviously I'm gonna keep this in how many things I have to move just so we can see the deck because of the exorbitant amount of expensive cards you're playing.
What?
Just like to see the
Oh,
whole.
just because of the high mana costs?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
All right, go ahead though. It is on screen for the viewing
Okay, so
pleasure.
the basic idea of this deck, I'll read off the cards and then I'll talk about how exactly it works. So we got three Profane Tutor, 4 Faithless Lootings, 2 Demonic Councils, 2 Cash Grabs, 4 Malevolent Rumbles, 4 Cloud Thresher Slivers, 3 Gorya's Vengeance, 4 Sorin Imperious Bloodlords, 2 Sliver Legions, 4 of the first Sliver, 4 Morphon the Boundless, and 3 Grizzlebrands. And then the notable lands are 2 Shifting Woodlands and a Gemstone Cavern, I guess, is kind of interesting as well. So the basic concept of the deck is that there's a creature from Modern Horizons 2 called Morphon. This is a giant changeling that makes all of the chosen type. You choose a type when it comes into play. All of the chosen type costs Wooburg less to cast.
When you say giant changeling, it is creature type shapeshifter for what it's worth.
Sure, but it's
It's a large changeling.
Yes, I didn't mean giant as in giant.
got
The
it.
creature type. Yeah, I just meant that it is a large changeling. Yes. So the idea is that you can either put this into play via Goryo's Vengeance or Sorin Imperious Bloodlord because it counts as a vampire while it's in your hand. So you can use the show and tell part of Sorin. And then from there, you play your sliver. The first sliver usually is the best one to have because it costs 0 mana. It gives all of your sliver spells Cascade. All of your slivers have Cascade. Then you cast any other sliver, and often you're going to hit a Cloud Shredder sliver, and then you will be able to give all of your slivers haste. And kind of one-shots your opponent in that way. Sliver Legion is another one that costs Wooburg that gives all your slivers +1/+1 for every other sliver on the battlefield, so it's kind of like a sort of a Crater Hoof Behemoth feel to it.
Sure.
What else is really cool about this deck is the Demonic Council is a 2-mana tutor that searches for a demon and puts it into your hand, and then if you have Delirium, you can search for any card instead. Even without Delirium, this card can actually go get Grizzlebrand or Morphon, which is pretty great. So it already gets half of your combo in that way. And then the rest of the deck is just ways to dig it out. Faithless Looting, a bunch of ways to fill the graveyard with Rumble and Cash Grabs, and then Profane Tutors for finding those specific cards.
All right, Matt. Let's go to our matches.
I don't know if I should be choosing to play first or second. I think I got to go first last time, if I'm not mistaken. But
all right, Matt, you won the die roll. What do you want to do?
I guess if it's my choice, I'll choose to go first. Going first sounds great.
I don't know. It feels like we've done the die roll the last 2 times. I don't see a reason to switch off every time we play.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, just one less thing to track, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my hand here. I can imagine it going badly, but it's so funny that my camera
forced
just,
to mulligan
totally
mine.
dead now.
Well, that's worse. I'm gonna mulligan again. Okay. Okay.
A little bit of a rough 5.
It's a 5 with a gemstone cavern. but I also have to keep the gemstone cavern. So it's really
Sure.
a 4.
Yeah, that's always a bit rough. I mean, you do get to be on the play.
Well, all right. So we're putting back. This and this. I don't know the answer to this question. I'm gonna put it
What's
like
the question?
this. What to exile?
Oh, I was just wondering if this is your only card in hand, do you just get this for free? I guess you would, right? Because exiling a card is not part of the cost. I mean,
Oh,
free, right? Like, obviously, you're on a mold of 1 in that
sure.
scenario, but
Good question, Matt. I don't know. Sure. I'll put that on top.
It's pretty easy to imagine my hand being a disaster if I don't find a land here. Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, we didn't get rhinos, but given that you pitched a Splinter Twin, I could see that happening to us.
All right. Let's do this.
Flame of Anor, that's a good one.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Oh boy. Oh, right. That one doesn't hit lands. I forgot that that one only hits creatures. All right.
Playing really good content here.
I mean, yeah, obviously, like, I kept a hand that was powerful, but, like, a little bit loose, but, like, not drawing a land in the top 13 cards is going to be unlucky regardless, right? I'll let you do the thing here for a minute.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tap this to untap this. I would like to use the ability. I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna target this. I'll untap it.
I will say the great thing about playing Bounding Crisis for Moto is that being a 3/3 instead of a 1/4 or whatever. I mean, obviously, I guess you're replacing a 2/1, but every extra power really makes a lot less clicks for this when you're doing.
Yeah, it's substantially less clicks, right?
Yeah,
Like,
especially because you often have to overshoot just in case your opponent has something. I don't know. Like it's just better to overshoot a little bit. So like even in this scenario, I'd probably make like 10 of them or something. You know. Whereas with like Pest Reminder Z-Rex Arc, you really got to make like 25. But I'm deceased here.
all right, well, let's. I got one on the draw. Let's go to game 2.
I will remember not to choose to play first this time.
This hand seems really bad.
I'm gonna keep my hand. I at least will have spells to cast this time.
Maybe the wrong one. I'm not sure.
Start us off with a Faithless Looting.
I don't like that.
No?
Not like that at all.
Actually, not the easiest looting, surprisingly. It seemed like it would be fairly obvious from the way that my hand started when I cast it, but after the draws, it became pretty unclear what I was supposed to discard.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I guess that decision wasn't even that cut and dry now that I'm thinking about it. Huh.
Okay, so honestly, don't. But we're gonna just do this.
A can of rhinos. I think this is the half of the deck that I'm way happier to be playing against.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought about killing your Eldrazi spawn, to be honest. But like,
Sure.
I would say that like even in a best of 5 matchup, like if that's really what we're doing, I would not know what your deck was after last game, especially in a game 1, right? Like,
Sure.
am I dead?
I don't really have anything to do with this yet, so no.
Oh, okay.
But it is a 6/6 though. It's fair. That's better for me than what I was fearing, which was Brazen Borrower.
I wish I was that good.
You don't just draw the one of Brazen Borrower whenever you need it? I don't think it really matters which of these lands I leave open.
he doesn't have Cascade though, right? Oh, he does.
He does have Cascade, yeah.
All right, now I feel bad.
Yeah, I think I'll probably find a way to win the game here. This is also a really cool interaction. Your cheaper cards often hit the demonic tutor.
All right, well, we are dead. Well, I guess I'll let you attack.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I had a way to tap you down and kill you next turn, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I wasn't just dead on board. Even you didn't even need to tap it down.
oh yeah, that's true. You can. Oh, you can't stop.
I mean, I can stop. I was gonna Goryo's Vengeance, a Grizzlebrand, and do some other stuff, but I'll just attack you.
Just playing with your food.
I mean, what's the point in playing a deck like this if you're not gonna do the sweet thing when it happens, right?
Sure. And we will be back for sideboarding. Alright, so for me, like, I'm trying to think if I have any sideboard for you. Like, I don't really like Musical Dispute. I don't know that Blood Moon is that effective against what you're doing. Like, I'd have to really be on the play.
Mm-hmm.
So I might do no side. Like, I could bring an Endurance, actually. That's probably correct.
Yeah, Endurance sounds right.
And then I think boarding out some of these actually Dead Gone, I guess it bounces. Okay. So yeah, that looks like what I'm gonna do. Let's go into game 3 and then we will talk about yours after. Unless you have time to talk about it now. Do you want to talk about that?
No, it's okay. I'll talk about it after. Yeah. I guess we could have tried. I actually ended up siding out most of the reanimating stuff because I have 11 cards to bring in this matchup, and I'm not exactly sure how else to do it.
Sure. I'll keep this.
I'm gonna try my hand also.
Go ahead.
So I'll just lead on the tap land.
Okay. I'm going to elect not to fetch here. Let's see here. Go ahead and play an island. And pass the turn. Right, on your upkeep,
Ice me.
I'm going to go ahead and get...
It's actually pretty good here. I find that people just default to ice your land on turn 2, like, always, and it's actually pretty bad in some matchups. Like, I've played this mirror a few times, and people that just ice your land in the upkeep, I just think is really bad. Because, like, I'm almost never doing anything on turn 2 anyway. But in this case, it's very good against my deck.
I thought it would be.
Had lots of things that I wanted to do there. Hoping that there's a stomping ground in this deck. There is, in fact, a stomping ground. Nice. You love to find that out in the middle of a game.
means for me.
I mean, it is a Goryo's deck. Things have gotten weird though if I'm Goryosing slivers.
Okay. Alright. So we put in the Duder guy.
I do have a Duder guy.
One thing that I already noticed about this deck is that I wanted a commercial district multiple times.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that one thing that I would change about this deck already moving forward is a 1-1 split.
Sure.
I might even cut the 12th fetch land for the 1 of.
I guess I'm not really in a position to be able to play around the things that I wish that I could. I'm just like dead on board here, so gonna do this differently.
Okay. Okay. Well.
Yeah, that's gonna get me. Yeah, I mean, I was already on thin outs. I had fatal push here, but I was gonna try to fatal push and then block, but now I won't be given that opportunity. The blocking part. Plus, you have an extra 3/3, so it's really ended up being like 7 surprise damage there.
I'll go ahead and attack. All right. We'll be back with Matt's sideboard conversation. What we got here going on that you think about for sideboarding, Matt?
So what I had done was I sided in the 3 fatal pushes, 3 thought seizes, 2 Veil of Summers, and 2 Force of Vigors. I think I sided in the Beseiju also, but now I'm actually thinking the Beseiju probably wasn't good.
Okay.
I cited out the Profane Tutors, the Cash Grabs, the Goryo's Vengeances, and what are the other cards I cited out? Oh, the Grizzlebrands. But now I'm thinking I'll probably do this a little bit differently. For sure, I won't bring in the Beseiju, I may also not bring in the Force of Vigors. That might just be too bad, especially if you're not playing a list that's playing Leyline Binding.
Yeah.
And I'll probably keep in the Goryos. Even without the Grizzlebrands, like being able to Goryos the Morphon, I think is big enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, in hindsight, it will be plus 3 Thoughtseize, 3 Fatal Push, 2 Veil of Summers, out 3 Profane Tutors, 2 Cash Grabs, and 3 Grizzlebrands.
Awesome. Let's go to game 3 or 4.
I think I'm supposed to mulligan this hand. Like, this hand that I have here puts a lot of faith in Faithless Looting.
Yeah, my hand is
Faithless.
like really bad, so I'm gonna mulligan.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this hand. This is much better.
This hand is also quite bad. I'm gonna mulligan.
Feels like you've been mulliganing a ton. Do you think that that's just I mean, obviously we're playing
just
mulligan four game.
five and no landers. Like,
sure. So it's just a variance thing then,
yeah.
Not a side effect of the deck.
I'm gonna put back these two and hope. Get on some hopium.
Hopium, I love it.
That's a decent draw.
Are you considering countering this?
I am considering Force of Negationing this.
Interesting.
I don't think it's right though.
It sounds wrong because all my ways to get the thing into play are going to be involving a card that you could just force.
Yeah, that was my conclusion as well.
Yeah. I guess the one caveat would be if you were expecting Veil of Summer, like it's possible. Like obviously, I'm not trying to protect the demonic councils, whereas I might be trying to protect like a Goryo's or a Sorin or whatever.
Okay. We are going to ice him this turn. And we've already won because our forest is way cooler than his. So, lots of things are cool.
I think everybody uses those APAC lands at this point. It's just kind of over it. I mean, there was a point when everybody was on the John Avon lands, so, But right now I get to be a hipster because nobody likes them anymore.
I'm the real hipster. I never liked him, man.
I mean, that doesn't it makes you not a hipster right now, though. Everybody feels that way.
Yeah, but I was that way first.
But if everybody's on board with you, that's not how it works.
Does he has Veil of Summer?
I do has Veil of Summer.
He does has a Veil of Summer?
I did do this on a turn when you had a hardcast force up, though, so it's not like completely insane for you to double force here. I mean, not that it would ever be, obviously you'd do it regardless if you had it, but at least it doesn't like completely wipe your hand or whatever. I'll go ahead and top that. Oh, I guess I just redraw it immediately, right? That makes sense. That's actually pretty interesting from your perspective. Like, I wonder, maybe it doesn't matter, but like maybe letting the Veil resolve first I guess maybe I don't know. It probably doesn't matter, right? I end up with the same cards in hand regardless.
Mm-hmm. The small to 5 did not get there.
Fair enough. So I'm never playing around Spell Pierce or anything like that. Hardcast Subtlety is pretty decent. Just gonna continue to put this thing on the top of the deck, though.
Splinter Twin.
That would be interesting.
Nope. All right. Maybe I fetch my lands wrong. I'm not sure.
You having some mana awkwardness over there?
No. I just probably could have had 2 Thundering Falls in play at this point, and I drew a lot of lands.
Sure.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. That's a whammy. Haha, that's not a whammy.
Yeah, I guess I just throw kind of caution to the wind here as far as like interacting. Kind of past that part.
That's a whammy.
All right, your turn.
Wait, what?
What?
What do you mean? Oh, you can't cast that off of that.
Cast what?
I was thinking that you could cast the 7-mana sliver, but that's not how it works.
I don't even know what 7-mana sliver you're talking about.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, I just old cards.
Okay.
Holy.
Yeah, it is important to note also that Morphon only reduces the colored mana symbols, not the colorless, so it does not help cast itself. It's also the main reason why this is done with like slivers, because they're the best creatures that have the Wooburg mana cost.
Oh, is this gonna give this stupid thing lifelink? Does it even matter? Am I still just dead? 8?
It is 14 on board.
Hi-yi-yi. Alright, I'm playing to my out. Well, that's not my out. Game 5!
Yeah, what was in your hand out of curiosity?
A Deceiver Exarch and a Breeding Pool.
Okay, so yeah, you just tap down my creature and try to draw a twin?
Yep.
Pretty reasonable.
So I'm on the play? Who's on the play?
You are on the play.
I'm on the play. I'll do it. I'll be on the play.
I'll try not to twist your arm about it. Hand's looking pretty good.
I think I can get a better hand than this. It's like I would keep this hand in like a ton of matchups, but I think 2 Rough and Tumble is like basically 2 fake cards.
Rough Tumbles?
Yeah.
Why do we even have Rough Tumbles in the deck?
Because they're better than everything in my sideboard.
Fair enough.
And we got a 1-lander. Man, we mulled a lot in this match. Okay, keep this. Okay.
That almost went south really fast. I almost just F6 through my turn on accident.
That would be a re-record. Okay.
I guess I'll just take the Sorin. My hand certainly, I mean, I think I'm probably pretty favored to win the game from here, but it depends on what the context of your hand is. Like, I do have some problems with this hand. Deceiver Exarch.
Okay. 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 That sucks.
Yeah, you having twin was what the thing that I thought that I could lose to in theory, but it did work out pretty well though.
Cascading into Nazis.
I mean, it could have been. There were other things too, right? Like, could have been Fatal Push. I guess those are the two main ones that would have stopped me from dying there. I could have also just found Lethal. That would have also been fine.
All right. Oh, I should have played the other one though. That was a mistake. That was stupid. That will probably do her. GG's.
Not sure. Well, I guess it depends on what you have, I guess, but. The Delirium version, okay. So yeah, go get Sliver Legion here. I guess, actually, hold on. No, I guess, yeah, they don't need haste, so the Legion is just better. Alright.
Yeah, well, that's another reason to get my other one. Let's play my fetch land instead of my island.
I guess I force you to block if I plus on one of these. I guess you have to block anyway.
Yeah, the game's over. You just attack.
Yeah.
GG's.
GG's.
Let's go to the post game. Welcome back, Matt Klang, to the post game.
Yeah, good to be back.
How do you feel about that match?
I mean, I think you mulliganed a ton. I think that's probably not gonna happen that often with the deck.
Yeah, even in that last game, like I do think that like that last hand was a keep in a lot of situations, but I just wasn't in one of them. It's also like one of the downsides of playing Gemstone Cavern as like an actual land in your deck is that when you do it, like sometimes you just draw a colorless land.
Right.
And you know, I don't know. Like I don't think that anybody would have enough sideboard cards for you basically ever. So I don't feel, especially like considering how I built this sideboard for the current meta, like I don't feel upset that I didn't have enough. And I do think that like, you know, anytime, I mean, I won on one of those 3 moles to 5.
Yeah, for sure.
And
You won game 1 on a mold of 5 even.
yeah,
It basically ended up being a mold of 4.
yeah.
Really.
And I just think that like the deck has power.
Hmm.
Uh, I do think that there's like a very big squeeze when you do hit the rhinos.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Your deck also seemed cool. Like I'm surprised you put it down so fast and then nobody else has picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this deck is like pretty powerful. It's not. It's certainly not as much of a meme as it seems like it would be, right? Like I had a turn 3 protected win there in the last game. um, I I think that the matchup did play pretty similarly to how I thought it would. Like game 1, if you were on a Rhinos draw, I had pretty good chances. If you were on a twin draw, you're just dead. Um, and then in the post board games, I had a lot better interaction for the twin stuff. So honestly, I would say in the post board games, honestly, I was actually more worried about Rhinos because that just like clocks me, whereas I can interact with the twin stuff with just a Thoughtseize or a Fatal Push a lot.
Sure, that's totally fair. And I think that like this I might put some effort into this deck if I'm being honest with the viewer for Portland. Just like try a version with white, get some Ardent Pleas in there, get some Leyline Bindings in there, and like not be so like two dimensional. But yeah,
I think what would be great is if you could just be like a Rhinos deck with a little bit of twin stuff, and then like you could side out the twin stuff, because I think that's where you're going to get a lot of percentage. Like when you can just like pretend to be a Rhinos deck, and then like your opponent, like I said in the pregame, if you can just trick your opponent into tapping out for something, and then you're like, got him, Deceiver X Arc kill you. So I've done this with Affinity before, and it is quite potent when your opponent has no idea that you have twin in your deck.
sure.
And then once they see it, then you're like, oh cool, now I'll just side this out, and now my opponent has a bunch of Force of Vigors or whatever in their deck.
Yeah, if you want to find us and talk about these matchups, don't forget to check out the Patreon at patreon.com/ccmtg. Constructed Clash is powered by Patreon, powered by Constructive Criticism, I should say. And I really appreciate Matt doing this with me. It makes it so that I have extra content for the YouTube channel, and honestly, like forces me into testing different stuff and interesting stuff and playing new interactions. And I have a ton of fun doing it. So if you like it, leave a like. Yeah, you can find me at Spencer13H on Blue Sky. And you can find me every week on Constructive Criticism as well as Neat to Nerd. Matt, if people want to find you, where can they do it?
I mean, you can't really find me at the moment, but you can find me in the YouTube comment section of this video. Yeah. I think that you should all let me know, or let us know whether you liked more of this like kind of weird deck format, or if you prefer like the meta decks, or how you guys feel about it. So I'm very curious. I'm certainly happy to play whatever the people want, but I do think it's kind of fun exploring these weird decks sometimes.
I had fun doing both, so like I don't have a strong preference, and I'm always down to do whatever. So yeah, like Matt said, leave a comment, let us know, and we'll see you guys all next time with another Constructed Clash.